Hey guys, welcome. What's up? Welcome back to another stream. How's everyone doing? It's another week. It's basically another month that it's done. How has it been so far for you guys? So welcome. It's another stream. It's another weekly market analysis. Another day that we're going to be looking at opportunities for next week. What happened last week as well. So welcome, my name is Pedro. Usually during this stream I'll go over different assets from FX, US indices, and then individual currency pairs. Also gold and oil, and finish with crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum mostly. So feel free to share any levels that you're looking for. That's the reason to do this stream, is to actually go over, try to see what to expect for next week. Also look a little bit at the fundamentals, what news are you going to have or not. And yeah, just go along and feel free to share anything. And if you are new, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So yes, dollar index, right? So we basically had a continuation to the upside. It was a busy week, as we were expecting. In terms of fundamentals, we had three central bankers, like we had Fed, ECB, Bank of Japan, all of them doing their own thing. Bank of Japan surprising a little bit with kind of increasing the yield curve control from 0.5 to 1%. And that led to quite a little bit of volatility in the end pairs yesterday, or starting even on Thursday evening. Aside from that, we had macro data, strong GDP at the beginning of Q2 in the US. Unemployment still another low number on the unemployment claims. We had a few CPI, especially in Australia, a bit better than expected as well. And then we had out the earnings with the big tech, which was creating even more volatility in the US indices. Right? So it was a busy week. Volatile, not exactly created much momentum on the dollar. Maybe a little bit of this correction to the upside, and the indices a little bit still indecised on where to go next, but we should start noticing a little bit of bearish moves in there. So yeah, let's see next week. The market doesn't stop. Next week already starts a new month, so as you know, first Friday of every month we start with non-farm payroll, so that's going to be now the focus for next Friday. From what the Fed and the ECB mentioned, Pedro and Christine Lagarde mentioned, basically continuation of data dependent, and from the ECB, it's actually a change of tonality on the speech that they've been doing until this meeting. Now it's literally data dependent. Both of them repeated the same story. They don't know what they will do by the next meeting in September. So until there is basically 2 months until they have the next meeting, and until there they're going to have at least 2 more unemployment data, 2 more CPI data coming out, and so on and so forth, right? So that's basically what you're going to have. What we should be expecting from those news is that since the Fed is going to be data dependent, or the ECB, so anytime actually there is data coming out, non-farm payroll, CPI, and so on, expect volatility, because it's going to be based on that data that then the Fed, or the ECB in this case, are going to make some decisions. So anytime there is expect volatility during those moments, during those news releases. That's basically the point that I want to mention. Next week we're going to have also interest rate in Australia, also Bank of England announcing another interest rate decision, most likely expecting hikes in both of them. So it's going to be continuing to be a busy week now that we are in August. Yeah, do you guys like to trade in the summer? Like, is something that you guys like to do? You take some time off? Have you been on holidays? Are you going on holidays? Yeah, feel free to share as well. Let me know what you guys will be doing in August. Yeah, I'll be going on the last 2 weeks of August, so I'm going to be away. That's when I'm going to take some time off. Yeah, before that, there's plenty of things to look at. So let's look at our index, right? So we just carry on. Like if you remember last week, we were, where were we last week? 13, 19, 20, 21, and where is the weekend? Okay, yeah, we're here, 21 to 24. Okay, that's where actually kind of we were. A zone that we looked at, right, and as I mentioned last week, there was this particular zone just above this this level. This is something that you're looking for, like so somewhere in here, around above this this gap. That's actually where we were looking to react from, and that's actually where dollar index reacted. I think it was Tuesday maybe. So it reacted from there, right, from the level that actually we had identified. We had a specific target, as you know by now. Kind of this beginning of the compression, it can work really nicely as a target when price finally turns. So I can return, react to this quite good level, broke trend line as well. So there was opportunities to look there. Expect at least dollar index to move to the downside, and then question mark it will be where it would react from. So after reaching the target, it kind of either kind of respects a little bit this level. I could even go a little bit deeper into this level, like because on one side, when it did respect from this level, we actually have taken this sign, right? So that actually can be seen a little bit as an engulf to the upside for the future when price now is reacting from here, right? So that was something to keep an eye on. Again, looking in the bigger picture and at the range that we are in here, right? So that's going to be the question mark on the dollar, is what's going to happen here, right? You basically are, what kind of range actually can I draw from here? Right, we are kind of like in this kind of situation, and now we kind of just took this falls in here, right? Again, I was still looking initially a little bit more to the downside, which may still happen. We'll see what's going to happen in there, but I'm actually looking for price to go a little bit more lower, to take actually this compression here, in there. Which we respected at the bubble, and that's kind of where we are at this point. So question mark is exactly that. Is price by any chance trying to resume and go back kind of to the upper hand of this range? Kind of we break back inside into it, kind of respected it in here, and kind of still managed to create a new high in there. It was a good reaction from this level, right? So far, not sure if this is going to be the level where we are going to see resume to the downside, and we actually can continue to go maybe a bit higher, right? We are in the middle. To be honest, I don't really have a proper bias at this point on what to expect from the dollar index. I'm open to both scenarios at this point, of maybe price respecting a little bit this level and carry on to the upside, getting a little bit closer to this level, if not even higher. I'm totally open to that scenario, and by any chance, if price wants to hold this level and start moving to downside, I will be also trying to then position myself in that way if I continue to see more information in that regard, right? And it was an okay level where price reacted from there, but yes, it can definitely go maybe a little bit higher. Is there anything still in here that you could look for some kind of reaction? Maybe we did manage to take this low, so that's something to keep an eye on. Maybe the type of movement that you're going to be looking at on dollar index is this type of kind of compression move. Kind of go up, go down, go up, go down, go up, go down, then eventually can go all the way until here, and then maybe go up again. Like, so we may have this kind of compression move in here. Just keeping an eye on a few zones that price may still go to and react from. Maybe at least for some intraday opportunities, maybe you can take advantage of it. In terms of bigger picture at this point, I still don't really have a complete bias in here until we kind of start seeing some PI to which return to the downside. So yeah, that's a little bit of what we have on the dollar. This move from here to here and then from there to the upside, this was during DCB. It was okay. Yeah, that was kind of a little bit DCB. Yeah, that was a little bit possible to expect. Now let's see what's going to happen in there. S&P, right? So what did you have on the S&P? And we kind of mentioned a little bit that scenario that where price opened, yeah, opened somewhere in here. We mentioned that price kind of was still respecting this level, and that was a good target for this move to downside. We also mentioned that there was a high probability that price even should create new highs, since actually this level in here at the extremes, they were already reacted from, right? So if that's already taken, and if price is reacting from a good level in here, we may actually just continue this move to the upside in here, right? Looking even left also to try to see where actually price is reacting from, we can see that actually price was reacting from this good level, but there was still even another one above it with this, which is somewhere in there. On the daily time frame, it's even more visible. Like in this level in here is literally where price is reacting right now. It was still a bit fresh, and price can even go a bit higher to actually take everything in here and actually then react from the next one, which may still be fresh because this high may have not taken that level in there, right? So that's something still to keep an eye on the S&P, or a potential continuation to the upside until kind of price may move down. But for now, it's reacting from this level in here. That's kind of a little bit of where price reacted from at the end of the week, and it created this high. Looking at what price is doing then to the downside, right? At this particular point, you kind of slightly broke this trend line that price was kind of creating a little bit, but you are still respecting this exact same structure that initially we were looking at even from last week. Right, so as long as kind of maybe this holds, price may just continue to move to the upside. Is there anything in here that still can be used? Perhaps maybe price could use something in here to move a little bit more to the downside, but so far I wouldn't be surprised if you do actually eventually continue to move higher and start aiming even to take out that high, overall high in there, and go into the next level, or maybe just even fake out something in here and then continue to move to the downside. I'm still waiting for that clear low to be broken in here, which I haven't really seen it just yet. Even this one respected now, so that's not exactly that move. So yeah, as long as it continues to hold like that, price may just continues to create new highs. Like, because I'm even expecting maybe first the proper low to be broken, and after that we may still even fake out whatever high is created in that moment, and only afterwards we might have the move, maybe the move down. So we will see. At this point, it still continues to go higher. And NASDAQ, like if you remember last week with NASDAQ, we talked about this particular zone, right? So we're looking in the bigger picture. We have this structure. It has been respected quite a few times. Like in here, and then in there, and then in there. Right? When we kind of looked at how price would kind of react somewhere from this level. Now, if you zoomed in a little bit more, we could see that there was this important decision point in here. This movement from price that broke the highs, kind of and created this low, and it started moving higher. Right? So you notice that this rectangle, this zone in here, it will be quite important to see if price would hold it and maybe continue to move higher, or by any chance if it would start kind of breaking below it, then it would start opening doors to the downside. Right? We had Meta, we had Alphabet, we had Amazon, we had like all those earnings, Microsoft and so on. Most of them beat the expectations. So we're kind of expecting NASDAQ actually to maybe move a little bit to the upside. But actually during those earnings, it was more of a indecision than anything else. Like if you notice the way price moved around 9 p.m. UK time during the week, it was a lot of indecision with spikes up and down, but not exactly any momentum. Meanwhile, okay, price reacted from this level and started moving higher, right? And meanwhile, since then it has been respecting literally this level, and created this level in here, and then we have respected literally this level. Even on on Thursday, when price made such a big momentum to the downside, it looked like it was about finally to break down, and it didn't. It just carried on respecting the same level and found ways to reverse once again. Now the level where it reacted from, it was really good. Like so, as you can see, price created this structure in here. This level in there, it was a good sell last week, the week before that, and then this last Thursday, price whichever went to the level that was still fresh. It was a really nice sell opportunity that you had in there. So we mentioned about it, right? There was maybe this level, and then there's maybe the next level above that price can still respect and react to the downside from there, right? So this one, so there was actually 3 levels, right? There was initially this one, so that was taken in there. Now then there was this one, and then most likely there's maybe this one above it. Eventually price can go higher in here, take this highs, maybe react from something in there, and maybe move to downside again. Just as a reference, like what I mentioned last week, this level in here, it was the one that was taken straight away on S&P. That's why we're actually already waiting or expecting new highs on the S&P. S&P was also less bullish than less bearish, sorry, than NASDAQ. Either way, it's respecting this kind of bigger trend line that you have in here. Broke it slightly, but still kind of respecting, since these walls are also being respected in there. So it's going to be a good question mark of what we can expect now from here. Are you going to take slightly these highs? Are you going to try to aim a little bit closer in here? Are you going to just respect this level and move down? It closed somewhere in there yesterday, still respecting those highs. So that's a little bit of what you're looking for. It's already slightly broke this low, so that's something to be aware of. Yeah, we actually managed to slightly break this low, which can be an important reference. Yeah, that can be something interesting to pay attention. Okay, it managed to take that low. That's maybe a piece of information that we can collect. Yes, meanwhile, this is what we have. It also took that level, and you can maybe go a bit higher before actually moving down. And eventually that's going to be a little bit of the target. It's going to be to take these highs that never will react from that level. And that's a little bit of where eventually we are going to be aiming to on NASDAQ. Dow also kind of reacted, fake out this high now, and is reacting from this level. Again, eventually it may even go a little bit higher towards that zone, somewhere in there. But for now, this was also a good level to expect some reaction from. In here, this highs never reacted in there. Price is compressing, price is making this kind of a move. Eventually we can have a correction towards back to this level, so that will be maybe one trade opportunity that we can expect before maybe price moving upwards once again. We'll see actually how price will eventually react from this level. All right, so that's something to look at. Morning coffee. I'm losing my voice here. So yes, that's a little bit of the compression that we have. There's maybe still orders in here. I think this could be actually a good sell opportunity. I like the PI that price has done on approach towards this level. Right, starting to break lows a little bit even before getting there, and then you have kind of that turn in here. You can have this move aggressive above that level, so maybe it's still in here can be some opportunity to look for a sell. I think that's something that we can try to pay attention to beginning of this week. Somewhere in there, I think that's a potential good level. You can even fake out this level in there. So price which we already took this level. Looking at the zones in here, price already took this level. This maybe still fresh. Took that level in there. Now price is reacted from here, so it's taken. This one never reacted from there. So eventually, if price could go a little bit higher, take these highs, go maybe into there, and then move to downside. And whenever now it turns, so this one kind of is a new zone. Below that, this is already taken, it's taken, and then maybe aiming towards that level, if not even lower, if this is already kind of a break to the other side, right? So it's nice that price is taking these pockets of demand on the way up, because then eventually it frees up the space to then drop further down when it happens. Kind of even managed to slightly break that low in there. So yeah, Dow I think can be an interesting zone to look for a sell in here at the highs. Second, yeah, that one basically is already taken by this spike in there. So maybe we can actually look just underneath that to look for the opportunity. Something to keep an eye for sure. I think can be an interesting level. DAX just keeps going and breaking new highs. Like it's quite stock market's amazing. We have basically Germany in recession. All the data that comes out from Germany is negative. It's quite weak. Meanwhile, we have all-time highs being created on DAX. So that's kind of what we have. We may have a continuation. We had that slightly break to the downside that can start opening eventually door to move much further down. This point here respected that level, so maybe we can actually drop from here. We never managed to break below this level to open space to come back towards these lows. Meanwhile, it just continued this momentum to the upside. Again, there's no historical data on the left from here, so just need to keep waiting and see exactly what may happen until kind of have a proper turn in here. So that's just something to keep an eye on. All right. Euro index with ECB and so on, right? So what did we have in here? Right, so basically we kind of were anticipating this move to the downside, right? That was something that we looked at. We basically predicted correctly all this move in here, like from this high in there that didn't really touch the extreme in there, so we are still expecting the fake out of this high to touch in that level. Meanwhile, we're starting to have lows being broken, kind of opening space a little bit for price to go further down. So we did had that happen, and price now continue to move down. With ECB, just before the ECB kind of broke that level the day before, price went up, looked at high, and it literally crashed all the way through, right? So next target, it will be of course starting to look at the retest of this zone in here. Not sure if this will actually reach kind of the final destination. I wouldn't mind to see actually price maybe going a little bit lower, so there's maybe more room to go to the downside in here on Euro index, and this one actually has already kind of broken that wall in here, so I'm still open for price to continue to move down. Question mark is from where is Euro index kind of just respecting this level and resume the move down, or is going to go a little bit deeper, closer to this highs or even that one before making a move to the downside. Yeah, I think I'm still overall bearish maybe in here, even though price made a lot of the move, right? It's time to actually wait and see until kind of see some weakness and maybe see price reacting from some zone that can retrieve it for a further move to the downside in here, right? The best moments to be bear, which would be looking for sales, it was more somewhere in there, maybe after the breaking of this level, and maybe after breaking this one, when you do still have a lot of the space to fill. That's kind of the best moments to look for a sell. Now that price is getting closer to that level, now it's a bit more cautious in terms of looking for that opportunity, because price can literally maybe still feel much higher in here. Yeah, maybe we're there. Like the zone itself is, maybe it's not bad, maybe somewhere in there, and then eventually coming a little bit closer to the walls. Is there anything in here that can still be used? Price basically reacted from everything. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that one. Then you may have a little bit higher in here, and then can start looking a little bit more to the other side. So we need to see how price is going to be holding. This level is continues to hold. Maybe then you continue to go higher. If by any chance we do break below this level, then maybe you can start making something like this and moving to the downside. At this point, this is kind of the zone in here that is kind of important to see if price keeps holding this and go higher, or if we start breaking it, then you can start aiming a bit more. The N index, all right? And so the N index, plenty of volatility in here. So we basically closed the week in here last Friday, and then kind of this week we basically had this move to the upside. I was not the biggest fan of where actually this all kind of stopped. I may have touched that one, but I was actually looking for price to go slightly lower. It didn't. It just continued now to move to the upside, and is basically reacting from the base of the next level, which is kind of considering this low in here. It's basically kind of where price end up reacting from at this point, right? So that was the base, and it's kind of where price reacting from. It's not a bad zone actually. If you look a bit more in detail in here, we had all these highs to fake out. Actually kind of a good zone in there. Now that was during the yesterday overnight, during the monetary policy meeting. Again, a lot of volatility in here. Not really sure exactly what to look for. I prefer actually the zone where dollar yen reacted from the lows, the same low as this high in here. That makes a bit more sense to me, and maybe actually pushing then dollar yen to the upside from where it is, which maybe is going to push this one to the downside as well. For now, this level, if it breaks slightly into it, then we may go towards that level. There's a lot of movement in here in the middle. Yeah, it's not really my yeah. If you would like to trade that, kind of you could have maybe trade that in here. I prefer more to trade kind of extremes. Yeah, it's a little bit of what we have in here on the end index, right? So it's going to be curious to see what's going to happen from now on. There's a slight adjustment, as I mentioned, with the yield curve control that they did with the 10-year government bond. So let's see how the market is going to be reacting to that, and how the yen is going to move from here. Yeah, again, anytime price may gets closer to this level, there's going to be pressure to then move to the upside in there. Yeah, that's it in here for the individual currency, for the indices. Euro dollar, right? It continued to move to the downside in here. Like since last week, we kind of reversed from there. We had a really nice reaction from this demand zone, went a little bit higher, and we should fake out Monday's high, and before the turn during DCB, kind of this was the level a little bit in here where price actually was reacting from. Yeah, and it just literally continued from that zone in there. If you remember, actually it was the zone last week that I was actually already waiting on Friday, that kind of missed, and then kind of on Monday finally it went there, and it went there again on Thursday. So we had that move to the downside. Yep, we kind of were looking for that, and the target, this one kind of slightly broke it, still respecting it, but to be honest, same thing that I'm expecting maybe on the euro index. I think euro dollar could go much lower than kind of where it is right now, so you may find a little bit of a zone in there eventually to continue to move to the downside. I think I could still expect maybe a bit more room to downside on the euro dollar comparing with where it is right now, even though kind of on a weekly time frame may react from that level. Yeah, again, we'll see how price is going to react. Yesterday started to turn a little bit. It's going to find something in here and just continue to move to the downside as it wants to go a bit higher. I kind of have a little bit of this compression. There's maybe something in there, otherwise in there, then kind of a little bit higher. This was a good zone actually where price kind of reacted, kind of this one zone just below these levels. It's a zone that price kind of should have respected properly. It didn't really add much impact, just create a little bit and broke downside. So this is actually a good zone to then look for some potential reaction, opposite reaction. If not a long, then a sell. Yeah, aside from that, it's a little bit kind of what we have in here. Yeah, I think I'll be kind of looking maybe a little bit more for sales. Question mark is from where here on the euro dollar. Maybe I'm going to keep an eye also on euro index, maybe to help with that. Yeah, it may go maybe a little bit lower before going higher. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. Again, we have been bearish all this time since the turn. Now it's kind of a little bit indecision if it's already time to go look for longs, or if you will be waiting for price maybe to get a little bit lower before moving to the upside. That's a little bit of the question mark that's in there. Pound, kind of same thing. Reacted from a nice previous month in there as well. Kind of it stayed in the middle between these two levels, reacting from that zone. Again, is it reacting from where it should? Maybe it's still reacting from the same level that kind of this level hold. I was looking for price to get actually a little bit lower as well. So my buy is in there on the pound, kind of doesn't really change in that regard. I would like to see price maybe continue to go a bit lower. Meanwhile, we may have another retracement, maybe back to this level, can even fake out this high into that zone that was left behind before making a move down. In terms of cautious in there, it's kind of in alignment with this one. So let's see even our price is going to eventually react from this level when it reacts from now. So it broke that high. So it's a lot of small zones that are open to either go long or short. So yeah, we'll see. If you do then it break below that level, maybe a little bit of reaction there, but then eventually can start even aiming to go a bit lower. Again, it's going to be interest rate decision in the UK on Thursday, so we'll see where the pound is going to be. By then you have euro pound as well. Right, it's kind of making out the move. This was a zone that we kind of had in mind. It was kind of a good daily zone in there. This may be just a small zone for price to react from before maybe making another leg down and then finally making the final reversal. In here you may go below out that zone, but this was a good zone to expect some reaction from. At this point, kind of this side literally needs to be broken in order for price to start moving higher. Otherwise, as long as kind of this high keeps holding, then we may continue to force a move to the downside. Right, so that's a little bit of what we have. Price even respected. I took now the demand from there. So we'll see. Yes, there's maybe more potential move to the downside in here before maybe aiming to go higher in here. So we'll see what euro pound also is going to provide us for this week. Aussie, interesting, right? Respected at the top a few like a couple of weeks ago, and now it's resuming this move. And let's see what's going to happen in there. I think we may continue to move slightly lower. Maybe there's still finally the reaction a little bit from this level, but at this point, while from here I was looking for that kind of deep move, now I may not be looking for that anymore. Even if price kind of it's a little bit of a reaction from that zone. Maybe this is going to be just a little bit, maybe resuming, touching that level, and then kind of resuming the move to the downside, starting to go maybe towards that zone. Like again, it's going to be interest rate decision. I think it's going to be Tuesday overnight, so expect more volatility in here on the Aussie. Looking at the end pairs, like, and this is where I prefer much more, where actually dollar yen is reacting from. Like without those news, I literally missed the zone. Like price took slightly this level and it never reacted from the level above. Like, so you can see that one basically as an engulf upwards, since price kind of took a structure and didn't react from the next one. So that's kind of an engulf upwards. And you mentioned last week that the reaction from this level, it looks like it was still left behind. Right, it's literally this extreme in here, price goes up, down, you can literally see what kind of a move actually we had, and by reacting exactly into that level, that creates a little bit of a bullish momentum, because it reacted exactly from the extreme, exactly on top of it, so that actually can create some bullish momentum in here. It was not that it missed by a little bit, so then maybe could still open the door for price to go there one more time. No, it literally smashed into it and reacted perfectly, almost to the pip, to the level that kind of it should have in theory. So that kind of creates it a little bit more of a bullish momentum in here. So it was with the news, and we may continue now to move to the upside from that level. This level in here, it was nice, price reacted from it, then price kind of literally took the supply in here. So meanwhile there's some more zones in here that are fresh, everything is compressed, and maybe can start aiming, right? So this one took that one, this one was that one, this one was this one, and meanwhile there you go. Price can now continue to move upwards, maybe then now start using these levels oppositely, and price can go higher, maybe a little bit of reaction from here, just for them to maybe keep pushing maybe this dollar yen towards to the upside. This can also be supported if the dollar actually is about to continue to move higher, and maybe the euro to continue to move lower. So we'll see. Really good reaction. I prefer much more whether actually this will react from than where yen index reacted from with those highs. Euro yen also a little bit the same, like literally we had this structure. Price initially went down, and we took that level, went up a little bit, took the highs like for a couple of pips, and then kind of finally made the move all the way to downside to respect the next level of support resistance in here in this bigger picture. Really strong reaction. So let's see now what exactly it's going to happen. It's a little bit different because euro yen already made all this retracement and kind of already reacted a little bit from these highs. Just to compare, like dollar yen is basically in here. We made all this move down, and dollar yen kind of made this, and it's kind of still in there. Like still has all this to do, and still maybe even has all of this to do. Just comparing with the euro yen. Like, so that's a little bit of what we have. There's maybe a little bit more of a situation in here, and then maybe at the extreme as well can be a valid point in there. So that's a little bit of what we have. Pound yen, it's more of a little bit more of the same, even though kind of it missed a little bit the level, so we can still make another leg down. We took that zone in there by a little bit, but it didn't really reacted from the next one. So you see that's the difference. Kind of it still left some level in there, which can still lead for a further move to the downside. This one here can be interesting. Price kind of is reacting actually from the zone just underneath that, and then we'll see exactly what's going to happen, and let's see if there's anything in here that can hold price to the downside. But yes, looking just where the price is reacting from the lows, there's maybe more room to downside in this particular pound yen. Again, UK interest rate decision can help this to move in a different way than the other yen pairs. Bigger picture, as I mentioned, like we kind of broke a little bit into this compression. I'm still looking for this pound yen to continue to move higher, and to target and to go literally above this high, and maybe to go into that level. Right, so I'm still looking for this pound yen to aim towards there. So which means that still looking for new highs in here. Question mark is from where? Yeah, I would have preferred to see actually price reacting from this zone in here, and then now maybe to be ready to go higher. We have all this structure. You could actually work on the opposite side and kind of move upwards from here. We'll see when that's going to happen. But yes, I'm still looking a little bit more for room to the upside in there. Aussie yen. Yeah, I think there's more room to the downside in here as well. Even though maybe a good level in there, maybe it can continue to move down. It's not a bad zone. Yeah, maybe it can continue to move down. Yeah, it has been respecting all this in here. Yeah, interesting. It has been the most bearish of the yen pairs. Like we mentioned, that it was reacting from a good value in there, so expecting maybe that move down something that we could start looking at. Yeah, meanwhile, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen next in here. CAD pairs, right? So looking at dollar CAD and the move happened, right? So this was something that we were looking for. Like we talked about it last week after we took that high. That was something that we started to look at for price to move upwards. There was this zone in here that was still fresh. That was a natural reaction. Now, the main difference in here is that actually CAD still managed to spend a lot of time within this range now before making this move upwards. Like slightly took that low, reverse, and now kind of left the money here. So it was a lot of ranging market until finally price respected the engulf in here and pushed price to the upside. So it just broke this high slightly, but maybe it can open a little bit more the door. In here, maybe there was, yeah, that's why price has been reacting from. This level looked like it was still fresh, but maybe now price can continue. This demand zone in here was still fresh after price kind of broke out the size. We had that spike down, and maybe now we may have a continuation in here. Just this one. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen. Even if eventually price wants to go one more time below this level, maybe inside here there's still more buy orders waiting for it. Maybe in here as well. So we'll see what's going to happen. But finally, dollar CAD respecting the break in there and now moving to the upside, which again we can maybe target eventually something in there. Let's see if there's going to be any kind of momentum in here on the CAD. Looking at the other CAD pairs as well that you can pay attention, right? So we had a big move to downside on Euro CAD with the ECB. Right, we had broken these lows, so it's kind of initial good reaction from there, but that's actually an engulf to downside from this structure. And then we went all the way to respect this one in here, right? And then we just moved to downside, and we basically are reacting now from this level of structure. Now we can still maybe even aim a little bit lower, but so far, comparing off from this move up in here that reacted from there, this kind of, it's a good target to look for below this low, and from here, yes, we may start aiming to go literally to the upside from there. Now we can maybe still make a little bit more of a new low in there. You can even go a bit deeper and actually take this low, go from there and kind of move out the way. So that's something to keep an eye on this Euro CAD. However, yes, that as a target for this move downside, that's maybe a valid one. So that you could have waited for. Pound CAD, like a bit the same story. We moved to the upside when kind of pound also moved to the upside on Tuesday or Monday, and we kind of broke a little bit this level again, similar to the CAD, similar to the pound dollar. We kind of stopped a little bit in the middle between this level and that level. Meanwhile, we went to downside, reacted now from this level, and we make target. I think we may continue to move higher. Let's see exactly how price is going to react from this level. From there, if there's going to be any sell opportunities, or if price by any chance is going to just continue to move higher. Maybe like the dollar CAD, you may go higher. Again, it's another one with interest rate on Thursday. Another pound pair. Look for dollar franc Swiss. Yeah, this was a good one. A nice fake out in there of that low and completely moved to the upside again. I haven't been really following dollar franc Swiss at this point. We are finally kind of retracing and retesting the previous level of support resistance. Again, the zone on the left, it was actually okay, right? So it was actually in here. It's not a bad level on the left. To expect some kind of reaction. Price apparently literally took this low and move higher. Yeah, it kind of keeps holding this level in here. We'll see if it's going to continue to move to the upside. We may aim towards that level in there, or even a little bit higher. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen in here. On the other side, we can actually go maybe a little bit lower towards maybe something in here before maybe making the move again to to the upside. Yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. Looking at gold. Gold was a nice reaction from that 12, actually looking slightly higher than that before the sell. Kind of price is respecting that zone. Still, they managed now to break below that level. Didn't really react from there, so may just continue to move forward. We are kind of within this range. Price respected the extreme of that level and kind of respected that zone in there. So it's an interesting one. Let's see if price just continues to make this kind of compression and maybe continue to move down. Okay, lower time frame, I can actually see that maybe price has respected this level in there. Took the low, but it may have. Yeah. We'll see. The break of this may have actually opened the door to go a bit lower. This compression, it starts to compress quite a lot. So we may see another opportunity to look for a sell on gold in here. Yeah, again, the range is still this one. Price kind of reacting a little bit from that zone. Eventually could go a bit higher. Depending on what the dollar is going to do as well. This can lead to the downside. Oil, right? So oil is predicted. Also, we start looking at it as a zone 3 kind of a move. Zone 3 means compression. Compression means anytime kind of price goes up, kind of has deep retracements. Anytime kind of it fake outs a high, kind of has a deep retracement afterwards, and it keeps moving like that. We know our price in the lower time frame is going to keep filling kind of the prices that are available in order to collect this. Basically the remaining positions that order that are still there until eventually we do find a zone 4 type of a move. That may be the turn. Target for me that I'm looking for, it may react a little bit from that level, but I'm looking for price to go above this size, at least into that zone in there, basically at around 81.72. It's a little bit of maybe final target that I'm looking for in here on oil. So what kind of approach again we can maybe have? Again, maybe retest this level again, maybe go higher. After that, compress a little bit. Eventually I want to see maybe break of a low before maybe price finally taking that level in there. So again, maybe we can track some kind of trend line as well. Eventually maybe the trend line can be taken, but that's kind of the opportunities that we have at this point on oil. Is anytime kind of price maybe creates a new high, they expect maybe some kind of deep retest either towards this previous level support resistance or maybe towards the demand zone in here. At this point, kind of this one is holding, that one hold there, this was kind of holding it, and eventually this one here is going to be the first target, or one of the targets that you should be aiming for. Right, if price kind of continues to move like that, eventually it kind of react from that 81 something that I mentioned. Eventually the target can be exactly in here, if not even lower, maybe towards the 12 or even more, but maybe below that level. That's when maybe you can expect now a deep retracement or some kind of retracement before maybe price making another wall, right? So that's why kind of this one can work as a target, is because there's a high probability that price can make that move eventually and fill it. Again, we need to wait for price proper turn. And on the other hand, it's because after price goes below this low, there's a chance or high chance also that price can start having some kind of retracement or a deep retracement. And if you don't want to go through all this move, when most likely are short, like if you don't want to see your potential profit being reduced almost back to break even, that's why kind of you should take a lot of your target from that level. If by any chance price now keeps holding it and kind of start showing indication that wants to go further down, then maybe you can even add into it. But that maybe price create a little bit of a range in here before that then to happen. You can add into the position in there again. But yes, looking like this is a little bit of what maybe you can look for on oil. Now this one in here can wait, heck, later. This is basically where price is reacting right now. Maybe there's something a little bit in here also that we can look for, and then eventually that's kind of the next one that we are aiming to. 15 minutes. So that's something to just to keep an eye on in here. But eventually this one's going to be your target after a turn there. Meanwhile, we still have a little bit of this one, so it's kind of after maybe price reacts a little bit from here, maybe then go up, or kind of reacts a little bit from support resistance in there, and then kind of go up. Like eventually all these levels in here are going to be taken, and that's going to be one of your targets in there. So it's just a little bit of patient game. Try to identify the target that you are looking for, and that can lead you to then be able to identify the turn and capitalize on that big sell opportunity that you may have. Looking at crypto, it still remains the same. Like there's no change in here. This one keeps holding the lows. Right, these walls that were not broken. Kind of this reaction here. Price already kind of reacted from there, so it's taken. I wouldn't be surprised if you maybe kind of start to aim to the upside from here. Again, I mentioned last time, I still like this potential zone in here to look for a potential for a sell after price maybe takes this structure of this size in here and move down. I think that could be one potential scenario. Something to keep an eye on is also that this level in here, that's basically where Bitcoin is already reacting from, and these ones are still not reacting from there. Like, so this level structure, that's basically where the lows on BTC are reacting from at this point. Yeah, is there anything still in here at the highs that I like it? Yeah, this level was good. Aside from that, I'm not really sure. Unless this one didn't really touch it, may have not touched it, so maybe ripped in there. But eventually I want to see this double top being taken, or this highs being taken in there. Is there anything in here at the walls that we could expect? We start having all these walls a little bit in alignment in there. So I'm not sure if there's anything a little bit lower that we could maybe aim for. Yeah, this level basically was taken in there, kind of respected by all of this. Bitcoin is basically a little bit of a similar scenario, but as I mentioned, this is the level where actually price is already reacting from, that the crypto total market hasn't reacted from. Nice reaction at his base, so that's kind of taken. Aside from that, I don't really like maybe a little bit of a reaction here. Yeah, perhaps, but however, again, similar story. I'm expecting, or would like to see eventually this highs being taken, and maybe price getting a little bit more closer to that zone. Is there a chance that we may have price kind of breaking a little bit in here, and then kind of using now this level as a long, kind of using the base of this range now as a long? Yeah, of course there is, and that's something to keep an eye on. Right, so being aware of actually, for example, if this high is just kind of literally takes fight with this structure in here and then goes down, maybe that's a good opportunity. Maybe look for maybe that long and upwards. On the other side, if this when price does take this level kind of as a straight away deeper move and goes all the way still towards there, you start going down from here, maybe still some reaction from here, but now maybe it's actually to move further down. Like, so price taking this level, coming back here, respecting, aiming towards that level, I think that's a much better trading opportunity rather than price just literally second starting to select the color, rather than price kind of breaking it above, react from there, and now looking for a long edge here. I prefer the green scenario rather than the blue one in there. And that's just something to keep an eye on. This price wants to go here, I'm not sure. I think the wall could be enough maybe to push price a bit higher towards there. yeah, our time frame in terms of what to look for in here. Like a lot of it has been taken as well, kind of respected that 12 in there. So let's see. We're kind of waiting for another big momentum before maybe price kind of turn completely. Let's see if that's going to be happening still within this level. Just or do we need to actually break new lows in here? Ethereum, I don't know if this low is still holding. Yeah, Ethereum, there's maybe still that level in there, then that level, and even that level in there. Not the biggest fan of this one in here, so yeah, expecting maybe eventually price to go higher. Is there anything in here that price could hold? Is price going to respect the walls? Is price going to kind of break on before moving higher? Those are the things that you'll be paying attention to until eventually price gets a bit more to the extreme higher in there. Savannah, it was exactly the zones that we've been looking for, like after taking out these highs and reacting from that valid zone. The next big zone to look for, it was literally this one. Price reached that level, now it's respecting it, and it respected the zone and moving a bit higher. Right, as long as this holds, the potential of this happening is quite high. If this one starts breaking it, that's kind of where we may then have something like this happening, or just literally immediately from there. That level in here can be still a little bit. I don't really like anything in here. Start having a little bit more of a deep retracement. At this particular point, we may go higher than this high. Still maybe respect the within this level something, but you may start aiming towards. Yeah, I don't really like anything in that high. You may have a new high created, then you can try to investigate within that level if there's anything in there that you can try to look for. Start reacting from there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen in here. NASDAQ can be an interesting one, but this level kind of hold all the way through. A DAO, I prefer DAO at this point. Euro, yeah, continuation to downside can be possible, even though the was kind of maybe a bit stronger. And it took this high actually on the way up, on the way down, so maybe targeting next level, still targeting just even here. And dollar as well. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen, and where price is going to be by Friday for the NFP as well. All right, guys, nothing much to talk about. So thank you for everyone that is joining, or that everyone is watching afterwards. Feel free to ask any questions. Yeah, it's just waiting and see. Okay, thank you. I'll see you next week. Have a good start of the month of August. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Obrigado.